Hey there. In a minute, I've gone through some good old-fashioned Twitter discourse, and that is what we're doing today. Nothing better than rotting our brains by logging on to twitter.com and dealing with this bullshit. So what are we talking about? Well, over the last several days, I mean, this has been going on for about a month, but like over the last several days specifically, there's been discourse online on everyone's favorite thing, voting. Partially, the reason for that is that we are getting into election season. Unironically, it is about that time that we're going to be like thinking about voting again. The election is next year. That means it's time to talk about voting. A lot of people got a lot of things to say, and some of them are really dumb. And we're going to look at the dumb ones today, because okay, let's just do it. I got this image right here. This is from @BugsMatrix, which I believe is a very, very large trans Twitter account. I think a trans Twitter account. Stop using a hypothetical trans genocide to justify a literal Palestinian genocide, you freaks. I'm going to get into why this is dumb in just a second, but let's give some backstory, some context, if you will, for all of my my fans of a very, very certain Saige clone. You might want to know about the context of this. So the context is that Israel is currently doing a genocide. And I think genocide is bad. I think a lot of us think that genocide, I think that's a reasonable position, right? You know, genocide, not on my list of favorite things. I don't really like it that much. But Israel kind of likes genocide a little bit, and if they're doing it to Palestinians. I think it's a bad thing. I think a lot of people can agree that it is a bad thing what Israel is doing. And the sad fact of the matter is that the Biden administration, you know, Dark Brandon, is supporting Israel, or at the very least is not hearing calls for a ceasefire. And I think that's pretty up. I honestly think that's pretty cringe. I think, to be honest, he should stop. I'm being a little facetious here, right? Because I think that if you pay attention to politics, it's kind of really self-explanatory why all of this is really stupid. But yeah, the backstory here is that what's happening in Israel is kind of up. Israel is doing a genocide to Palestinians. It's not good that they're doing that, and the Biden administration is at the very least supporting it, and he shouldn't be doing that because it's bad. And if I remember correctly, I'm not going to say this with like complete and utter confidence because I don't have like the actual statistics in front of me. But if I remember correctly, Biden has not been actually polling better because of this. Like, he's losing support from Democrats a little bit due to like the support of Israel, because a lot of people can see that this is kind of up. Now, with all of that said, to kind of put behind everything that is in this tweet right here, what is BugsMatrix talking about? Well, this was kind of spawned, I think, after this tweet, which is what I saw first from @Halomancer1. Jenny Tightpants, another very large trans creator, said this: "You don't have to vote for Biden because of you have to vote for Biden because of trans people. No, you don't. You don't have to listen to anyone using my identity as an excuse for supporting genocide. You can consider this tweet a pass to not vote for Biden until he stops supporting genocide in Gaza." This is also a really, really dumb tweet, like a really, really dumb tweet. Once again, we're kind of going back to, if you're a longtime viewer of this channel, one thing that you know about me is that I don't like when people resort to using their identity and using kind of like the listen to X marginalized group as a justification for saying stupid. Because the problem is that you can't tell when any kind of like which person you should listen to when you're talking about a marginalized group. You just can't. Like, it's all vibes based. And in this case, you have Jenny Tightpants here saying, you know what, you've got to pass if you don't want to vote for Biden. I'm saying that you don't have to vote for Biden to save the trans community because I, a trans person, say it's cool. And then now you have me. Now you have me, a trans woman here, that is saying, as a trans person, this. And we're going to talk about why. But I do want to also, like, I want to be thorough. So we're actually going to heed these words. We're going to read all of them. So Bugs continued, like, literally, yes, a GOP presidency can and will be bad for queers, but a continued Biden presidency will be bad for the world. Multiple things can be true. The US, Biden, colonizers, free Palestine. Again, the GOP won't be different, so why aren't we demanding better from Biden? Or better, Biden shouldn't run. The Dem platform should be a unanimous condemnation of Israel's actions. It's not hard. It's really not hard. I feel kind of bad for bugs that her tweets blew up as much as they did. Honestly, I don't know if I feel that bad. I feel like every single year, like we have this discourse, every single election we have this discourse, and every single time, like someone's tweets are blowing up because of it, and it's always it's always for dumb reasons. So I don't know that I feel that bad. Like, I feel bad in the sense that like I don't like seeing anyone have to deal with like being the main character, but also like she kind of said some really dumb. So let's break this down, okay? So we're going to start here. Stop using a hypothetical trans genocide to justify a literal Palestinian genocide, you freaks. First of all, this is genocide denial. This is straight up genocide denial. And I will keep that in your back pocket for a minute. Also, yeah, Juniper is another account that was in on this. Juniper's account was suspended a second time. So I like that happened before I was able to like gather screenshots and stuff. So I don't actually have those tweets, but it doesn't really matter for the purposes of this segment. Yeah. So this is genocide denial. We are dealing a genocide against trans people. And I would even argue that we're dealing with a genocide against like queer people broadly, but trans people are kind of like the focus right now. Like we are the ones who are being like actively like this, like Republicans have decided like this group of people needs to be eradicated. And that's because it's like a little bit less popular to be able to want to eradicate the queer community as a whole, because, you know, the LGBT community, or at least the gay marriage being legal was kind of a good thing, kind of a good first step there. And a lot of people changed their tunes on things. And like the trans community goes, we are actively dealing with a genocide, and the queer community is kind of like behind that, right? Like the broader queer community, like gays, lesbians, bisexuals, the whole nine, we're kind of like the scapegoat, because once like we're out of the way, the rest of the queer community is next. That's why it's like so dangerous to listen to TERFs and to listen to like organizations like Gays Against Groomers and shit like that, because like they're just leading people like themselves. They're just trying to be the most pure, one of the good ones, as they get shoved into the mass graves. And yeah, this is genocide denial. This is just straight up genocide denial. But let's continue going. Hello, Pluvius. Good to see you. Like literally, yes, a GOP presidency can and will be bad for queers, but a continued Biden presidency will be bad for the world. Multiple things can be true. I would like to point out, by the way, that this is still kind of not allowing multiple things to be true, because the problem here is that a GOP presidency won't just be bad for queers. It will also be bad for the rest of the world. The admission here is that the Dems and the Republicans are the same. Like they want the same things as far as like Israel and Palestine go. They are both going to be bad for the world, right? And so it's still ignoring like multiple things being true. Like it is also possible. I'm not going to deny here that Biden's presidency will be bad for the world, in the sense that any US presidency is going to be bad for the world to some degree or another. But this is basic math, guys. This is like third grade math. I don't know about you, but I think that genocide, pretty cringe. I don't think it's good. I don't think it's all that base to do genocide, and I think that the less genocides in the world, the better. The thing is, we have candidate number one. We got in this scenario, right? We've got Joe Biden, who supportive of Israel, who is funding the Palestinian genocide by sending money to Israel. I'm going to put an asterisk next to that because there are some nuances there. But just for the sake of the argument, we have Joe Biden, who's going to support the genocide in Palestine, and then we have Donald Trump, who will also do that, who will also support the genocide of Palestinians. But here's the super neat thing about that candidate Donald Trump is that he's also wanting to genocide queer people. So, and we've established here that more genocide is not good. And if we're following along, two genocides are more than one genocide. And so it is, at least in this scenario, better to go for the candidate that wants less genocides. Even if, you know, they're not good, there's still less genocide in the world. That is at least a preferable outcome. But we're going to continue because, like, obviously this doesn't address all of it, right? Because ultimately what we're talking about here is the final portion of this. You know, why aren't we demanding better from Biden? And I think the thing that we're missing here is that we are demanding better from Biden. Biden is literally not doing as well in the polls because of this stuff. Democrats don't want this. We are demanding better from Biden. That's why there's pressure right now to call for a ceasefire. That's why Biden has to stay quiet or to walk back on things. See, the thing here is, and I realize we're still a year out from the election, so it seems like it doesn't matter. The thing here is that we're not getting a third party candidate to win the presidency. I'm sorry to break it to all of you third-party lovers out there. It's not happening. It's not going to happen. It also does not seem like Bernie Sanders is running again. So it's not like we're getting Bernie to challenge Biden. Biden is likely going to be the Democratic nominee. I mean, actually, he probably maybe. I mean, to be fair, he may not have a shot at winning. I mean, Cenk Uygur is running. So like he might not. We might not have to worry, but we might actually. All jokes aside, Biden is probably going to be the Dem nominee. Biden is going to, Cenk is actually going to get 500% of the vote. He's going to get all of the votes, and then he's going to get extra votes that will allow him to win the next election. He's going to get credit on the next election. Anyway, Biden is going to be the Dem nominee. He's who we've got. There is like no shot that we're going to have anyone else, and there's no shot that a third party candidate is going to be able to beat either of these two parties. So what we can do right now is we can figure out what the best course of action is. And I'll tell you what the best course of action is not. The best course of action is not to let the genocide guy to win. We kind of want to avoid that. We don't have a choice because at the end of the day, the genocide is going to happen by Israel, whether we want it to or not, until enough pressure is put on to stop it. And here's the thing that you all of the dumb on Twitter that keep saying this. Here's the thing that you all don't understand. Which one of these two parties and candidates do you think is more likely to succumb to the pressure to stop supporting Israel? Which one of them? And don't lie to me. As Ikströms pointed out, the USA is the only country able to pressure Israel to stop. And also, Biden is more likely to stop, to put that pressure on, to pressure Israel to stop than Trump is. If anyone has a chance at changing their mind on this issue, it is going to be Biden and not Trump. And I get it. I don't want to support a candidate that is okay with this. I don't. But I'm going to remind all of you that voting is not pledging your love and allegiance to someone. It is picking your opposition. It is being strategic. Voting is a job. It is not fun. It is not a thing that you do in order to pledge some sort of loyalty to someone. Voting is a job. It is work. And the only difference between any other job and voting right now is that at the end of that job, if you don't do it correctly, people can just die. Voting sucks. Elections suck. The whole process sucks. And it sucks that the only people that we have to choose from right now is one guy who is old and is supporting a genocide, and another guy who is also old and is wanting two genocides, one of which y'all are just willing to close your eyes to and not look at when it's convenient. And I'm going to go hard on this right now. Fuck all of you. I'm going to stop smoke screening this. This is how it's going right now. This is how it was. This is where we were in May of last year. Literally longer than a lot of people on Twitter right now in the circle have been admitting to there being a trans genocide. Bugs, protect trans kids, cherish trans kids, let them grow to be trans adults. This is a genocide. This is true. Can we have this? Where did this bugs go? How it started, how it's going. This is from a year ago, a year and a half ago, and this is from 3 days ago. This really makes it look like this was just clout. Like this was you're just getting rid of your principles for clout. Because I'm sorry, the genocide against trans people did not stop. It is still ongoing. This tweet was true then, and it is true now. I do want to cover a couple of other things that were included in this little bit of scuffle online. I want to start with this one because it's funny. This got made fun of a lot. If there was an election where the only two viable candidates are Hitler and Hitler but 1% less bad, you are morally obligated to vote for Hitler but 1% less bad. A lot of people made fun for this, but honestly, this guy's spitting. I'm just gonna say it. If those are your options and that's all you can do, yeah, we're going with 1% less bad Hitler. We're going for non-fat Hitler. If we have to vote for non-fat Hitler or full fat Hitler, I would rather it be non-fat Hitler. And yeah, as TJB 0607 said, I really hate that how this whole thing was twisted into a false dichotomy of choosing between a Palestinian genocide or a trans genocide, as if the Palestinian genocide can just be voted away. That's true. Like I've been saying, we're not going to get rid of the Palestinian genocide by voting. For that, we have to do actual political pressure, which is a thing that none of these people know how to do. No one who is making these statements right here knows how that works. Yes, Twisty, they did use a very interesting formula and got the right answer. I'm not saying it's not funny and it's fun to make fun of. I am saying that they did come to the right conclusion. But then let's keep going. This one also got made fun of by Jenny and Juniper and some others. From the Radical Dino: as the lover of 2 trans women, I simply cannot fathom how many leftists, even American ones, simply don't understand the consequences of Republican victory. Not voting will never work, but giving up your power as well as voting for a third party in a US presidential election. This is just true. Also, Sean making dumb tweets again, because I couldn't, because I'm blocked by Sean on Twitter. I lightly criticized him like almost a year and like 8 months ago. And so I've not been able to see his tweets since. But he said, so long as Joe Biden does not call for a ceasefire, I think you have a moral obligation to not vote for him, especially if you live in a swing state. I also think you should encourage all your friends to not vote for Biden unless he calls for a ceasefire. Share this sentiment as wide as you can. And now I'm pretty sure he walked back on some of this and was like, well, I wasn't telling people not to vote for Biden, when he's literally telling people not to vote for Biden. Sean is a dumb, at least on Twitter. His videos are usually pretty good. I haven't watched a lot of them in a while, but his videos, I would highly recommend his videos. Stay away from his Twitter. I don't know if there's like a gas leak in his phone that when he logs on to Twitter, he just gets idiotic, but he seems to get away from it when he's on YouTube at the very least. Yeah, UK brain, he's British. We'll give him a pass. He's got that going for him. Y'all use Twitter on your phone. I use Twitter on my phone every day. Are you kidding me? If I didn't have Twitter on my phone, I would not be doom posting as much. Anyway, so the Radical Dino based. I would like to point out, they then did follow up with this. I downloaded the actual statement. They said, upon consideration, trans people matter regardless of my relation to them. I love and think about my partners a lot, and this was not an appropriate context for me to mention my relation to them. As criticism, I should have centered the difference between primary and general elections. Voting against Biden in the primary is based. Not voting against Trump in the general election is cringe. Voting is very important and accessible, and also not the only action needed for political engagement and change. So I am going to say that I don't think this statement was necessary. All of it is true and all of it is based. I don't think it was necessary. I'm not sure pronouns. Their initial statement, like they're kind of apologizing for like centering themselves on the issue. I don't even necessarily think they needed to apologize for that. I think like, I understand that some people might feel like, you know, this is not a trans person like centering themselves on the issue. And I'm going to push back on that for 2 reasons. For one, you don't know that. I don't know if this person like trans or not. I don't know if they're in the closet or out of the closet. I don't know like what their pronouns. I don't know if they identify as cis. I don't know. Like, I don't know. And like, how much would it suck for you if it turned out that this was a trans person? So I think like doing the whole like, oh, this is a cis person centering themselves on the issue. I don't care. I don't want to make that assumption because I could be wrong on that. And then if this is a trans person, you're all going to look really stupid because you didn't listen to the trans community. But also, I don't think it was necessary. I legitimately don't think it was necessary because I think the statement is fine. Even taking aside as the lover of 2 trans women, I mean, like that's literally just qualifying like why this person feels compelled to speak. I think it's fine to do that. As somebody who is affected by this in this way, you know, that being that in this case, both of my partners are directly affected by these policies and I care about my partners. This is why I feel the way that I do. I think that's fine. Like what? I don't know when I don't know when we decided that like bringing up personal anecdotes is like centering, like these are the people that think that like if somebody like, you know, sympathizes with them on an issue because they've had like a similar thing happen to them, that like this person is taking the spotlight and trying to make it about them. Like, you know, maybe we're just trying to sympathize and maybe we're just trying to explain our reasonings for God. Yeah, no, Archael, it literally, it is the same like level of bad faith as the noodle shit. So I want to be clear that I don't think it was necessary for them to make this statement at all. I don't have any criticism against it, except for this part here. This is why it wasn't necessary. All of this is fine. Yeah, where do we go from here? There were a lot of other tweets. There were a lot of really dumb ones. I saw a certain empanada on Twitter making similar arguments, although they were also just straight up advocating for the death of someone, in this case, a government official. But you know, same deal. I don't think I have to continue going into why this is all bad. Like, I think if at this point, like you don't understand the perspective here. Don't get me wrong. I understand. It sucks to vote for Biden. I don't like voting for Biden. I hated doing it in 2020. But I also like really, really don't want the guy who wants, as a policy position, as a platform position, wants to like eradicate my community to win. I don't want that. Is Biden perfect? no. He's not even close to perfect. But if we only voted for candidates that were perfect, no one would be in charge. And there would be like no one doing any kind of like advocacy or work or anything. Candidates are never going to be perfect. You are not voting for perfection. You are voting for harm reduction. And I really, really, truly, honestly find it so disappointing. So disappointing to keep seeing people in the trans community falling for this. It's literally selling ourselves out to the exact people that want us dead. And they're falling for it because they keep wrapping it in this idea that we're just going to somehow either, I guess, get a third-party candidate in a two-party system to win, or we're going to successfully primary Biden when no one's running against him, or somehow Trump winning will be better than Biden, even though objectively speaking, that is not the case, or somehow they believe we're just going to like overthrow the government, that revolution is going to happen. All of you are delusional. And yeah, our Kale, a lot of them are just accelerationists and they don't want to admit it. They're literally just accelerationists and they don't want to admit it. Jesus Christ. Anyway, that's pretty much all I gotta say. That's the whole deal. This whole discourse is rotting my brain as we speak. And I legitimately am disappointed in a lot of people on Twitter. A lot of people that I thought were decent, accounts. And I think like probably still are. If this is the one thing that is going to separate me and them, I guess we're doing something right. But like, come on, guys, this is the easiest thing. It is the easiest thing. You just have to, one day, just one day you press a button, go home. All you gotta do. And then for the rest of the next 4 years, bully them, all of them, every single one of them, the Republicans, the Democrats, independents, libertarians, Green Party, all of them, bully everyone, bring back bullying. Anyway, I know this was a lot. And for those of you who are going to come away from this video still disagreeing with me, because I know I've already gone over this before, but we're going to continue to. It is getting into election season and we are going to continue talking about politics and continue talking about electoral politics, covering more specific like races and things like that. If you still are going to disagree with me on this after the end of this, I don't know what more I can tell you to convince you. I don't think you want to be. My real honest opinion of the people who come away from all of this, from the prospect of a queer genocide, the current trans genocide that's going on, Palestinian genocide, everything that's happening in the world, if you still can't be convinced to show up on one day and press a button for the candidate that is going to be the least amount of potential possible harm that will be caused from that participation, from that system, that's all we got. We continue trying to make things better. And then every year we show up on one day and we click a button for a person that we don't really like. And we just keep doing that until we die or until the system changes. And it's going to take a lot more work than just abstaining from participation. And if after all of that, you still can't be convinced, the only thing I can do is assume that you just don't care. We do what we can. That's all we can do. And then do it all over again. It is not fun. It is not satisfying. We just do this forever. Otherwise we lose. And that is not an option. Anyway, that's all I gotta say. I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. And if you'd like to support the channel further, you can become a channel member by clicking the join button, leave a super chat or a super thanks. You can become a patron at patreon.com/SaigeAlexis, or you could donate to my coffee. The link for that will be in the description below. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.